Okay, I think we'll make a start. We don't have much time. I actually need a lot of time for this subject, and you will understand why once we start uh, get going. Okay, so I'm gonna skip the introduction part for myself quickly. If I want to tell you, my name is Prashant Guzre. I'm a parenting coach for last few years, and we have a website, inspiredparenting.in. Okay, you can see that on top left on your screen, and that's where I share all my resources, my trainings, and everything is shared there. You can get more details of me and Inspired Parenting on from the website. Okay, so quickly, I want to start today's session. Yeah, I want to talk about 20-25 minutes on the subject, which is basically bullying, and the first part of it, where why some children bully others, and then how can I make sure that my child don't bully others. Okay, I know a lot of concerns are there in terms of how my child will not be bullied, which is fair enough, and we will come to that subsequently in part 2 or 3, depends on how how our conversation goes. Suggest why some children bully others. Quickly, as long as you have not read my article already, so if you have read the article, you would know. But otherwise, your thoughts quickly. 1 minute. You can speak up, or you can enter in the chat.
They might be seeing this in environment.
Yes, peer pressure, environment. At times it becomes a culture. Yes. What else? I would like to know the more root cause of it. If you can think of something.
Removing their
I
own
think
anger and frustration.
Yes. Their anger and frustration. One of the main causes, I would say. Yeah.
I think it is happening because he is also getting the same environment at the home.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll see that. We'll
The
see that
same
how
mother
that
father is also,
cascades.
see, whatever is happening at the office with the father. So father might be taking out all his frustration, or mother is taking out all the frustration on the kid.
Wonderful,
So that is what he
wonderful.
is watching and learning, and that is what it is doing at the school also. Might be that is the reason.
Perfect. You hit one of the main causes of bullying. It's a cascading effect. Yeah, someone
May not be loud.
I bully someone else because I need a release, and I
Yeah.
can't bully others. Right? Wonderful.
Now, yeah, that is how the frustration they take it out. Basically, we elders also do the same thing multiple times. So I
Exactly.
think that is
You're
what
spot on there.
happens with them.
Yeah? So this is
Yeah.
what I say: helplessness. Yeah, of
Hmm.
someone. It's a very interesting concept here. I have a innate need to be powerful. Okay, it is very important, because once I'm powerful, I know things are in my control, and it gives my life a stability, security. Okay, and we carry a lot of insecurities inside. It is genetic, as well as environment develops certain fear in us. So when there is such environment, I have a need to be powerful somewhere, someplace where I can also apply my power. Okay, and so typically, as you mentioned, when I go to office, I'm dominated
Janu,
by the boss.
Janu, यहाँ बैठना है.
Okay, I'll just make everyone mute. Okay, so I go to office. There are a lot of people giving their agenda to me, and I'm dominated. Okay, I express my views, but people override me. Yeah, that generates a lot of frustration, anger at times, and especially if I'm getting exploited, then that festering is much high. And when I go home, okay, I need some place, or or maybe my subordinates. Yeah. So I go and release that, apply same force, same pressure on others, so that I get a release. Yeah. So I'm getting bullied. So I bully someone else so that I feel relief. Okay. So this is basically cascade effect according to the food chain. And unfortunately, children most of the time at the end of the food chain. You see, they're helpless. They're always dependent on parents. They're always following orders at school. So they're always running around on someone else's agenda all the time. Okay, they're always at the lower end of the food chain. Now, amongst themselves, when that happens, okay, they have a need to release their uh, helplessness. Okay, and one of the way is then they bully others. Okay, so that's a chain because of which bullying happens. Okay, then there is another aspect of it. Yeah, this is prevailing in today's modern society. Okay, and it is about how can I be special. It is a race for being special. Okay, and in this race, it doesn't matter how I reach that special place. Okay, and frankly speaking, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't have to be academic, doesn't have to be career, doesn't have to be uh, uh, we actually these days encourage children. Yeah, you do something, and you do something of what you like, but you have to be special. You do focus, you do everything. Okay, but at least one thing in which you will be special. Okay, I'm not saying that's wrong, but that creates a lot of pressure. And when there's a pressure, it doesn't matter how you become special. Okay, in fact, at times children rebel against it. Okay, and rebelling becomes a specialty for them. Hippies. Okay, what is it? It's basically rebel, but I want to stand out. I want to be special in some manner. Okay, and then they start out, basically acting out. Yeah, that becomes their specialty. Okay, so this race, okay, to be number one, it doesn't matter how. So people start gossiping. Yeah, that means when you gossip, someone else comes down within that environment. What is happening is someone else is coming down, and I feel that I'm going up because others are down. Okay, when I'm jealous, I want to hit someone. Yeah, when someone else is special other than me, then I follow. I basically I would do something because of my jealousy, my anger. Yeah. So these are the causes that where I've even seen children who are brilliant. Okay, they bully others. That's an intellectual bullying that happens. Yeah, that I answer, and they look at other children as if you can't answer anything. Yeah, I can answer, and then there's intellectual bullying that happens. They want to be special somewhere else. Yeah, it's not because that I love doing this, but I want to be special. Okay, then there comes a pressure of maintaining my speciality. Okay, how can I stay number one? There's a lot of pressure to even stay number one. And then even when you see there are children who are gifted and you feel like they have everything, but still they bully others because there's an insecurity somewhere that even though I'm on top, I have to stay on top, and I will stay on top only when I push the other guys down. I'll make sure that who are not special are not will remain not special. So I keep talking about it. I'll keep teasing them. I'll keep telling them, you're bad, and you go somewhere else, and and then I'll show off to my friends. Okay, and that will make me feel special, and I'll stay on top. Okay, so that's one. So somewhere down there is an insecurity that gets developed in a child because of the pressure of being special. Okay, so that's another reason. Okay, then there are pretty straightforward reasons. A lot of children who don't get enough attention, yeah, at home or school, uh, and then to get their attention, to get parents' attention, teachers' attention, they act out. Okay, and that creates bullying pattern. At times they will act out in a manner that they will tease others. It is not necessarily that they want to be bullied, okay, but an acting out would mean that bullying towards a friend who has an attention, okay, who is more secure and more better than them, so they will bully them. Okay, so it's basically child who doesn't get enough attention, they don't feel loved. And see, the very important thing you need to understand that a child's self-love, how a child will look at themselves, lot depends on parents and teachers. Okay, when parents and teacher love their children, talk to them, listen to them, okay, child feels loved and child loves herself. Yeah, and lack of that, basically they lack empathy, so they would not have empathy towards others, and then they bully others, right? So that pattern gets created for children who are not getting enough attention, who've not been listened to mainly. Yeah, then there's a misbehavior pattern. Okay, children, these children basically not necessarily are bullies. Okay, what happens is because they are they have high energy, they have naughtiness, they want to do things. They're a kinesthetic learner, maybe, they want to do things and learn. Okay, so they'll be running around and doing things, and in that process they will be mischievous. They will basically bother others. They'll cross boundaries and tease bother others, hit other children, and because that's the way they learn. Okay, so what happens is when they act out such things, at times they get into the habit of it, and then bullying can be one of the things. Yeah, so that's why these children bully others. Okay, so quickly, if I want to summarize these things, there's a helplessness as a root cause of bullying. Okay, insecurity of being special, pressure of being special. Okay, there's a attention seekingness because of which children bully others, and it could be simple misbehavior. Okay, right, so I don't know if I've missed something. You can always add, correct me. Yeah. All right. What I'll do is I'll go ahead. What can I do to make sure that my child don't bully others? Yeah. And this, I'm taking this approach mainly because if that will be nipping the whole thing in the bud. Okay. As an at the source, if we can start with the source, that when where children are not bullying others, and of course the world need not be the ideal where no one is bullying, but the way things are rampant in terms of bullying cases, I would really want things not to be so much rampant over there. Yeah, I know this is now even entering the cyber world, and cyberbullying is prevalent. It's much a bigger issue now. Yeah. Coming back to our discussion, how can I make sure my child don't bully others? Okay. Just a reminder, please enter your name and number in the chat window so that I can share more resources, especially now when we'll start talking about solutions, we will, I'll be mentioning some resources which you can go through. Okay. Coming back to our discussion, right? Attention seeking. Yeah, or change the order so that we look at the important solutions first, right? Attention seeking. Okay. We have to make sure, if I want to make sure that my child don't bully others, that there's a platform of listening and understanding. Okay, so when I say understanding, very important thing is understanding child's emotions. Okay, child when they speak, okay, they are not mature enough to express their emotions. Okay, so a lot of times, child just cries, yeah, and they will nag. Uh, so very important that you talk to the children in a manner that so you can understand the feelings behind it. Okay, so I suggest you need to create a platform where you can talk to children frankly, and child should feel free that they can talk to you about anything. Okay, so quickly I'm going to tell you certain things that when your child is talking to you, don't give solutions. Don't comment. Don't correct. Yeah, this is what we call giving them space for expression. When we start correcting child, when we start giving them solutions, basically we are saying that you stop talking now. I've given you solution. Okay, a child doesn't feel welcome. Yeah, you need to say ha, you're listening, eye to eye contact, paying attention, very important these days, with in this era of mobile, where mobile is getting most of our attention. Giving that eye contact when child is talking to you is very important. If this doesn't happen, you will see over a period of time, child stop talking to you, child will stop telling you things but they generally feel like, I feel, child should just come and tell about their dreams, or just generally what they were wondering about. Yeah, and those things will stop coming to you just because they have started feeling that you've not been listening to them. So this in action response is very important, that not just words. You just can't tell child that you can talk to me about anything. Okay, words are useless. You can tell a child 100 times that you can talk to me about anything, I'm there to listen to you, and they will not come to you unless they have seen the proof in action. And what is the proof? That you look at them when you talk to them, you listen to them. Okay, you allow them to have a different opinion than you. Allow them. It's not necessarily you'll follow what they are saying, but having that opinion, I understand, you can feel like that. Okay, yeah, and there could be certain limitations from your side in terms of really following up with the what your child is telling you. There's a tantrum management where I talk about, where you don't really give child what they're asking for, but at the same time you show child that you really understand their wish. Yeah, and how that thing is important for them, and you understand their feelings about they're not having it, but they feel, you feel bad that they feel bad. Okay, there's an empathy part of it. So when you do that, okay, the child feels that openness, where they can come to you and talk to you about anything. Yeah, so that's one thing. Second is unconditional love. Okay, there needs to be enough proof in action. Again, I'm saying that my love is not conditional. Okay, so you need to understand what is conditional love, right? Many times, there are certain acts of love from our side towards our children. And what are those? Simple thing, you just tuck them in the bed, tell them stories, you stroke their head, These are affection showing things, you know, just hug and kiss them time to time. You make a special dish for them, okay, in terms of service. At times you give them gift. Basically, gift is what they want, not necessarily it's a useful thing, okay. Something useless, but your child wants it from deeply from within, okay. That becomes an act of love, right? Affection. Then certain things, you talk to them, you praise them, and tell good things about them, how they make your world better. So that's when you do this, when you appreciate them, um, that's act of love. Sometimes when you're angry with them, you stop these actions. That tells the child that the love is conditional. Okay. If the things are linked, I understand. Okay, that means if they have broken a bowl, you stop giving them to play with the ball. I understand that. That's something even child will understand. But because the bowl was broken, now you suddenly stop talking to the child, or you will not tell a story in the when the child is sleeping. Okay, these are not linked things. It simply looks. A child will look at it as a revenge, and then suddenly child will start thinking that the love is conditional. I have to fulfill certain conditions so that I keep receiving this love. You know, I didn't get my special dish today, okay, because I was naughty somewhere else. Okay. So we have to make sure we don't link these things which are not related, okay, and retract our love. So unconditional love is what's very important. And I'm telling you, if you listen to your child, if you create that environment where child can come and talk to you about anything, and if you give them unconditional love, most of your parenting problems are resolved. You know, most of the solution for any parenting problem starts here. You work on this, 90% parenting is sorted, right? So that's why I came to this particular solution first. Going on to the next one, misbehavior. Okay, misbehavior. Again, I was telling you about child misbehaves, they break things, they act out at times. Okay, it is very important that they do. If we don't allow them to misbehave, okay, then they will go ahead and act, take that misbehavior somewhere else, and what they will start bullying others, right? So it is important for child to misbehave, okay, or rather use the energy what they have. Yeah. So that's where the freedom is important, but at the same time you need to work with the child so that when they have freedom, they will take the responsibility. Now it will not be easy, it will be years of work, okay. You might have to remind them time to time, okay, that yes, you're allowed to cook food, but you have to do the dishes. Whatever you have mess you have made in the kitchen while cooking, you have to clear it. And they will forget times, you have to remind them. But this is how you work with the freedom and misbehavior, because they are not spilling things in the kitchen. Okay, they were actually trying to do something. It happens. Okay, we need to work towards responsibility rather than punishment. Yeah. Instead of saying you are not allowed to use kitchen anymore, instead of that, you tell them that you made a mess, take a responsibility and clean the kitchen. Right? So freedom and responsibility needs to go hand in hand, so that now child, when they understand that if I do masti, if I'm allowed to make a mess, or hit a child, then I have to go and say sorry to the person. Okay, so that's taking up the responsibility, right? So that's how you work with responsibility and freedom. I suggest, if your child is mischievous, play with them, or even if it's not mischievous, it doesn't matter. Playing with child is very important. Yeah, parents, elders, to play with the children, especially wrestling, I suggest, because this gives a lot of love and affection. There's a physical contact. Doesn't matter it's a boy or a girl. I suggest or wrestle with your children. Okay. So there's an element of play there. There's an element of learning how to control my motors. Okay, how to control my hand, how to control my power. These all things children will learn when they play. Okay, and when they are able to learn how to control their power, then they will less act out in terms of misbehavior. Their energy is used, so there's a place where they can use their energy. They're able to control their energy. Yeah, and at the same time, there's a love and affection proof that parents are playing with them. Yeah, very important play. Next is empathy. I'm not going to talk too much about empathy right now because it's a huge subject. We need to make our children aware about how others can feel in terms of what we behave, and that is empathy. Yeah, we are empathetic, but we need to develop. Children are empathetic, but they need to develop ability to understand this empathy. Okay, in terms of you can feel, but you need to understand mentally, and that's when it becomes empathy. So there are a lot of I will say there's a beautiful book I highly recommend all of you reading. It is called Unselfie. Yeah, so I highly encourage if you're a parent or a teacher, there are a lot of things that could be done. One of the beautiful thing I would share is when you talk to your child, try to talk to them in terms of feeling, how you felt when this happened. Okay, how do you think that other person might have felt this happen? So when you start thinking about feelings, okay, you can start developing empathy. Okay, take opportunity when you show children certain movies. Okay, how do you think that person must be feeling right now? When he went through this particular thing. Okay, how you felt while watching it. Okay, talk to children in terms of feeling. That's a good start, I would say. Yeah, but there are a lot of things that could be done, and I'll share this book name so that there are a lot of movies on bullying that's also you can watch with your child. I'll share that in terms of resources later on. So empathy. I don't. Maybe on that Unselfie book we can do another seminar later. Okay. Coming to the next point is helplessness. Okay. Now helplessness. If you don't want your child to be insecure from within, okay, the first thing you would want to do is work on your fears. Yeah. So I would suggest, and it's recommended, a lot of tribes do this, is before conceiving, they go in isolation and they work on their purity. Okay, maybe meditation or certain other silence practices, so that you work on your fears and don't pass on these fear to your children. Okay. So one of the precautions that could be taken before conceiving, very important. Again, fear, revenge, they go hand in hand. So that's one of the things you can work on. You can work on yourself even now when your children are grown up, because when you work on your fears, you will basically not act out of your fears, and then that will create a culture at home that you don't act out of fear. Okay, so that's one of the things you can take care. Next is punishment. Okay, again, as I mentioned earlier, you need to make sure that the consequence that you give to the children are relevant. Okay, I'm not saying consequences are not important. Punishment, consequence, its child should not feel that consequence as punishment. When that happens is when the child feels that this particular consequence I have received so that I will feel bad and my parents will be happy that I'm feeling bad. That is when the child starts thinking that it's a punishment. You can think that it's a consequence, yeah, but it is not necessary the child will think in a similar manner. So it needs to be relevant when you give any consequence to the children. So I would say use freedom and responsibility, instead of giving consequence, or the consequence needs to be correcting things, work with the child to correct the thing of whatever wrong they have done, right? So that's so that we can basically eliminate punishment. Yeah, respect, I would say, if you can, it's a very generic word and often misunderstood according to me, that we think that we respect our children, yeah, or we think that respect is something that you give it to elders. Respect, what I mean is, uh, treat them equal. We need to treat our children equal. I'll give you a very simple example, and you can take it from there. Okay, when we call our friends at home for dinner, or when we arrange certain things, many times we ask our spouse. Of course, we need to. I need to ask my wife. Otherwise, how can I invite someone at home? Okay, but we don't ask children. Yeah, we just take them for granted, and that's what I mean by respect, that they need to be equally, they are equal stakeholder of everything that happens at home, and we need to talk to them, take their permission, take their agreement, take their approval to whatever we want to do. If you think that you need approval of your spouse, that means, we have to extend that towards our children also. So treating them equal to that level is very important. Yeah, taking, financial decisions. Okay, making them aware of your conditions, rather than forcing your decisions on them. Yeah, I know they may not be, they can be very young, at times they are very young, they cannot even speak. So I would say, inform them. Yeah, that's how the respect starts, that, uh, you are inviting friends at home, and your child is 2 years old. Inform the child, tell them, explain them what's going to happen. New people are going to come, there could be children, they can play with your toys, you can play with them. Explain them. I know 2-year child might not even comprehend of what you're saying. Yeah, but that will give the child a lot of stimulation. They will understand the emotional part behind what you're saying, behind your words, and they will receive that energy, they will feel respected. That's what's more important. Okay, and then that becomes a culture. So every time, something is happening, you're talking to them, you are giving them that respect, and they understand that. So it's not going to be that, oh, my child is 5 year old now I'll start giving them respect. That's not going to happen. It has to be part of your everyday life, and that's it has to be a culture. Okay, so that's respect. Yeah. Next, when working towards insecurity, now this is again a very big subject. I'll try to make it short. Okay, stop making your child special. Okay, and understand this, that your child is already special. Every person, I would say, not just child, every person in this universe is special. Okay, then why some people have success and they shine and everything? It's a process. Okay, they are diamond with a special cut. Yeah, people who shine in the world are basically, they are diamond, because they have a special cut, they are able to shine, right? Nevertheless, everyone is diamond. Okay, so you can't deny that your child is already special. Yeah, allow your child to be a regular child. If child chooses to be so. Okay, that's respect, not trying to change someone with the force. I'm not saying don't child, you can motivate them, you can inspire them, that's part of having a relationship. Okay, but forcing someone to change is basically violation of respect. Yeah, so if you can understand respect to that level, you would not force your child to do something. Then comes praise. Now what happens is that you might want to not pressure your child for doing something special, but many times children feel this pressure because you praise them only when they do special things. What does that mean? Okay, they are smart, they derive things like that. Okay, that only when I'm performing well, that's when the parents are coming and talking to you. Yeah, then in that case, how do you praise a child? That's a very important question. I would say plainly, I would say don't praise. Okay, have an intimate relationship. Means what? Say child is singing. Yeah, I say take a genuine interest in that singing. Yeah, and talk about the details of the whole thing. How you like the song, how you like these words, how you like a particular soothe, what happened when that beat went off. Okay, when you are interested in what your child is interested in, that's the biggest praise you can give. So I would say, praise is very superficial. I would say don't praise. Instead, get into the thing. Okay, when you are interested in what your child is interested in, yeah, that's when the relationship is intimate, and that this is what happens with their friends. Slowly, you start seeing that as they grow, uh, the children are more close to their friends rather than you, and friends are never praising them. Have you seen a friend praising others? I don't know. You praised any friend? You don't praise anything, but you are genuinely interested in their interest. So I would say develop that kind of relationship with your children rather than praising them. It's much higher than praise. Okay. Again, there's an indication of specialness what we give them when we celebrate things. We always celebrate them when they get good marks, right? Or they get a medal. Okay, or when they are able to perform. What in other words, or rather in action, what we're telling them is that is special. Okay, and if you do it again, we celebrate again. Yeah, so I'm suggesting just like consequence and punishment, I say I told you, link unrelated things. Yeah, celebration has nothing to do with achievements. Achievement itself is a reward. You don't need another reward. Okay, in terms of celebration, let celebration happen for celebration of life. Just, oh, it's so beautiful that we are able to spend 24 hours with each other in the lockdown. That itself is celebration. Why not every moment of that is a celebration? Okay, rather than connecting it with some kind of achievement. Okay, so that's if that's how when we cross connect things, we build insecurity. Okay, so just to summarize, so these are the solutions. So what I have on screen, to work with you, I would say listening and unconditional love is the most important. Okay, work on your fears, work towards how you give consequence, respect your child, and yeah, that's misbehavior, understand misbehavior in detail, and play with your child. Okay, give them that outlet of releasing their energy. And finally, I would say, let them be a regular child. Not necessarily they have to be a special child. Okay, when you release that pressure, you actually working on their insecurities there. Okay. I know we've kind of exceeded the time. Zoom is kind enough to allow us to extend this call. I'll again remind you quickly. Enter your name, number. I'm writing these articles, so soon I'll be writing the next article. We will also have a webinar on that on further aspects of bullying. So just reminding you again, please enter your name and number in the chat window so I can keep you up to date with all the resources and next seminar that we'll have. Let's do question and answers one by one. You can type your question in the chat window, or you can speak up. Anytime. I'm ready. I'll just bring up the slide for your reference. Yeah. So yes, any questions from anyone? Thank you.
Hi, Prashant.
Yes.
This is Niranjan.
Yeah, Niranjan.
Yeah. So, Prashant, you have mentioned that whenever child comes to you and if whatever he did some drawing or he did something,
Yes.
so in that way you don't say this is good or bad, or don't say anything over it, or
Yes.
otherwise it will become judgmental for them. It will become
Exactly.
a
The
judgment
judgmental
for
is a
them.
very right word to use. Try not
Yeah.
to be judgmental about it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on the same thing, I wanted to understand then how should we react actually?
Again, the key is be interested in what your child's interest is. So you can describe things. That's one of the way.
In terms of giving a feedback, if whatever he has created or he's
Correct,
made
correct. Yeah,
something,
be
then
genuine. Be genuine.
okay,
You can say, I like the way you have marked these strokes. Okay, and I can see you have used 5 colors. Okay, I can see you have used these 3 combinations. I see you like these colors. I can understand that you like these colors. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you are correct or wrong. You express genuinely from your side. Okay, and if it is wrong, the child will correct you. Yeah, but child will receive an evidence that you are more interested in the details, and when you're interested in details, you are really interested. Okay.
okay.
Yeah,
So
and you can ask
simplify it.
questions. Oh, I can see this parts empty. You purposely did it. Oh, you didn't have time, or you talk in terms of that. Yes.
Okay. So we shouldn't be giving them the things that yeah, this is good or this is bad, or it can be, if you have spent more 5 minutes, then it can be much more better than this. We shouldn't be talking all these things. We just need
Um.
to mark out the things what they have
Yeah,
did.
I would say
This is
that,
what you
that
are
doesn't
saying.
matter. So you can ask that question. See, the way you speak can also affect, in the sense, you can say you want to spend some more time on this so that you can complete. Ask that question. So now you're interested in the person. Okay, and again, not disrespecting anything. I'm respecting your wish. Is again, that respect, please, that you want to spend more time on this. uh, what happened there? This part looks empty. What happened there? Now you're genuinely interested.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
asking questions. So it's very important that, a lot of times we tell children a lot of things.
Because see
We
what
ask
happens
them
in
less. Yeah,
okay. So
asking
what
them.
happens is in
Yeah.
90% cases, whenever child comes to you by making something or by building something, the first question is, "How is this? Do you like
Ah,
this?" this is what the question child directly asks to their mother, father, how is it? Because they basically want our judgment. Is it
Ye-
beautiful? Is it good?
yes, it
Is
is.
it,
It is
have I did
easy.
it?
Ha, ha.
Yeah.
See, again, I'm telling you,
So if
child's
we don't want to
vocabulary is
go into the
limited.
judgmental stage, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if we purposely don't want to go to the judgmental stage, but child himself asks these questions, they first throw this question only. ये
Right.
drawing में क्यों
See,
बना?
that has
This is
there is bit of conditioning that has happened. Okay, so we've been conditioned. Now they are carrying our genes, so they have carried certain conditions. Yeah.
Mhm,
Um,
mhm,
child's vocabulary at the same time also understand is very limited. Okay, so so we have to take this opportunity, talk to children by asking them questions. Okay. um, so the child also gets an evidence that you just don't want to get rid of it, you actually want to talk more. Yeah. And that's how you create an environment where child keeps talking to you about everything and more about his emotions. Okay. So I can understand that you may get that impression. I would say,
No,
if
but
the child is, yes.
excuse me. Sometimes what happens, no, if you just ask them, you need more time, they take you for granted.
Yes.
Then it is never the time for study, it's always play. So how do we overcome that?
Yeah, I would say, Abe, again, I have a very radical view in terms of studies. Okay. Number one, the moment you say study, it doesn't have a good connotation towards it. How can you expect a child to be interested in study? Okay. I would say, uh, try to think in terms of learning, right? So whatever that child is doing, somewhere the child is learning. Now you have to understand this, that deep within we are a very inquisitive soul. Okay, we are inquisitive souls, we have curiosity, we want to learn. Okay. It is study that hinders our learning. Okay. Because of the way the whole study is happening these days, it is hindering our curiosity, it is suppressing our curiosity. Again, praise and rewards also do the same thing, because when I start receiving performance awards, okay, I, instead of being interested in learning, I start getting interested in awards. Okay, see how environment develops. Okay, that's another hindrance in learning. So I would say, you need to step back a bit. Yeah. And see why a child would not want to learn. How can we work together to make it interesting? Yeah. And yeah, and so it's a longer subject, but something for you to think about. So I would not give you all the solutions, because if I have to talk entire parenting course here, it can take 10 hours. But I would definitely want to leave you with certain questions for you to think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any more questions? So Niranjan, quickly again answering you, if you give them judgments, so they would want to do things for the judgment or the reward part of it. When you give judgment, they get a reward. Okay. So you want them to be interested in drawing and not not your judgment. Okay, not your approval. Yeah. Um, so you work intimately with them for whatever they are doing, get interested in what they are doing.
yeah, I try to cultivate them multiple times, but
Yeah.
that is what the issue I put in front of you. The first two
Yes.
question, whatever he do,
Yes.
he comes to me, and first two question, whatever he
Yeah, you
asks
can,
is,
I would say
how is it?
yeah, you can start about talking in terms of your feelings. Now this is another opportunity to talk about your feelings. Okay.
Okay, okay,
I feel this gives me this impression. Okay.
oh, okay.
That you have spent a lot of time on this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
Mm-hmm.
that you've been in a hurry to finish this. Okay, so you can start with those kind of impressions, yeah,
Okay.
or genuinely talk about your feelings and then get into the details.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way of giving the feedbacks. Yeah, I like
Yes.
that. Thanks.
Yeah, and I
Thank you.
can see I was looking at you. You know, you were working on this for 2 hours. Yeah, and I feel that's that's something I am not able to do. You know, I used to appreciate them in such manner where the actions are more important rather than
Mm-hmm.
results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
people who
find this is a very good way of cultivating from judgmental to very different feedbacking process. Yeah.
Yes. So as I said, respect is very important because when you really get into the details of respect, you would understand that this is not how I would like to talk to my friend. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would be very open, frank, and supportive when I talk to my friend. Okay. I don't just give judgment.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk to them in that manner, you are also working on respect.
Yeah. Correct. Correct.
Visit our website inspiredparenting.in for a lot of resources. We have put a lot of resources there in terms of question and answers, and you can raise your questions over there. Yeah, we have YouTube channel. There are a lot of useful videos. We have a very comical take on certain parenting aspects. So there are some cartoons I would like you to appreciate. Yeah, and some videos are there. Indulge, learn, and happy parenting till I see you next time.